What's up, PlayStation Universe? Thanks for tuning in for more of PSU's E3 2016 coverage here in the city of Los Angeles. We're back from day one on the show floor. Ready to take a breather, talk about some of the games we've seen? Yes?
Absolutely.
First up, it's Rez Infinite, a PlayStation VR title and a follow-up to the much-beloved Rez on both, and we were arguing about this right before the show, on both Dreamcast and PS2.
This is PlayStation Universe.
Fair enough. Right. Fair enough. Yeah. But you both play the original.
Yeah. Let me just say, I'm just so happy that we have. I always wanted Sony to go back to like some of their more esoteric IPs. They're like more party game or like Fanavision.
Well, you didn't get Colony Wars this time.
That's true. Like the likes of Fanavision and stuff and like Vibrib and all those games that I think would work well and they're pretty minimalistic and they would work well in VR. I was always hoping they'd go back to something like that, and at least when you have Rez is pretty much the archetypal, like, perfect VR candidate.
Yeah, why not? We first saw it, I think, at the PlayStation Experience, where they had them come out, and it was all, like, Tron themed. And, it definitely gave... That game has always given off those vibes. But it's a game that's on rails, so it lends itself very well to being translated into VR.
And for you, as the virtual reality perspective, are you the kind of omnipotent camera looking at the action as it proceeds?
You're able
pretty much, yeah. You literally have like a hitbox that you move with your eyes, and you're
But in addition to that, you're able to further control the reticle using the left analog stick.
Okay.
So I really like, very sharp and long movements using left analog stick, and then refining your aiming using your head.
It still feels as though you wouldn't have to do anything; you'd still pass the game.
Yeah, you still could.
So walking me through a little bit, having not played the game and not knowing what Rez even is at its very core, other than something very trippy that I don't understand. What is Rez, and then how does the VR version, how does Infinite add a wrinkle to that formula?
Remember what the stories? It's
like
a hacker.
Did you just say story?
There is
a loose term.
Yes, it's more of a premise.
An idea.
Yeah, you're fighting off kind of a system that's been hacked.
Yeah, it's been so many years. I literally just remember the gameplay.
It's not an important part.
No,
but
in terms of gameplay.
Right. So it's set in what just looks like wireframe models because it's supposed to be this weird cyberspace world that you're going through, and you're on rails. You're this, I guess we'll call them an antivirus program or something.
Yeah,
that gets sent.
Stick figure type thing.
Yeah,
more developed. Stick figure.
Right, and you're there to shoot down all the bugs and glitches and malware and
it's so colorful, and the synth is pumping, and it's.
But you wouldn't call it a rhythm game, right? Because the rhythm doesn't dictate the flow of the gameplay. It just has this pumping soundtrack.
Right. It's more of a shooter with some rhythm elements in which when you do shoot and successfully destroy targets, it makes those noises on the beat.
So what wrinkles does VR add to that formula, and do you think it was a successful execution of that? Like, did you feel like you were placed in that world?
Definitely feel like I was placed within the world. Yeah. I mean, I think it's a good kind of entry point for VR. I mean, it's pretty simplistic, and you don't we always think that the idea of getting into VR, if you give me a pretty realistic experience like Resident Evil 7, which we'll talk about at a later date, it's kind of the jump. It could be a bit too much for some people. This is like super entry level. Yeah. Like, you're on rails. It's wireframe colors and stuff, so it's really accessible and it lends itself well. It seems like it's a really simple tech demo to get people kind of just engaged in the idea of what VR can be on a very base level.
I think the thing with aiming with your head presents kind of a possibility for VR to be a way for developers to add accessibility options to future games.
It's almost a case study of what does and doesn't work in VR. I think that's what's fascinating about the current landscape, is that anything that comes out in the next year and a half is going to be in some fashion the first of its kind, kind of going back to multiple generations.
Even if it doesn't know it.
Even if it doesn't know it, and we're in a very untested landscape. So who do you think Rez appeals to? Is it the hardcore PlayStation fan that goes out and picks up PSVR on day one?
It's about everyone.
I think it's about everyone, because we were talking to one of the developers, and the game is you can literally, if you are half decent at it, you can finish the whole game in 30 minutes. So
really,
So
interesting. It's not a very long game.
No, so
but it's fun to replay.
Right, it's a bit of a score chaser, right?
Yeah, exactly. And there's also some hidden level they were mentioning that is apparently a lot more in tune with modern graphic sensibilities. They won't tell us what that is or
Okay,
how.
fair enough.
They don't even seem to
There's some
understand.
extras there.
Yeah, and they don't seem to. They're not sure yet on how they're going to give that to the player. Whether they have to finish the game first, or it's unlocked from the start, or if it's gated off in some like side thing you have to do, or whatever else. But yeah, it's definitely like an entry level thing, and it's short and sweet, and it's definitely something that everybody can get into.
Where does it rank in the VR experiences that you guys have had so far?
Like a pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah.
Pretty
because
good.
as I said,
Upper half.
Yes,
yeah, like,
upper
definitely.
half,
Like I love all the old like party games and stuff, and when Sony kind of, and of course Sega, I guess,
Yes.
kind of took certain risks, and like we saw at the end of the PS1 era, and always talk about it constantly. So yeah, no, it's certainly up there. Maybe more based on the fact of nostalgic factor for me, but like it's definitely something that a lot of people will enjoy. I think
Yeah.
most people.
Yeah, and definitely could see the follow-up to Res Child of Eden someday getting ported.
Oh, yeah, that's a
You
good
know?
point. Or just launching off into we get more of these surreal shooter games. That
Yeah.
that
Yeah, I
use the
mean, like
soundtrack.
everybody watched Tron in like 1982 and wanted to be in that world, and like this, granted, isn't Tron, but like it's a weird
Everyone alive in
wireframe.
82 watched Tron. 82.
Well, I mean, whoever was I wasn't alive, okay. But yeah, like it's just a simple kind of cool futuristic world that like is simplistic to get into, and everybody would at least for a moment or two be lost in it. So
Well, it sounds like Sony's nailing a little bit of that accessibility for VR starting out. Great. Awesome. Thanks for sharing, guys. Thanks for watching our impressions of Res Infinite on PlayStation VR. Res is coming in 2016 at an undetermined date, although we can safely assume it's a launch title.
yeah, I'd say
Though they haven't said as
13,
much.
I guess.
Published by Enhanced Games and developed by Monstars and with support from Enhanced Games.
Not the Monstars from Space Jam, of course, but I wish. I wish.
Don't we all? Stay tuned to PSU.com for more E3 coverage throughout the week. Thanks for watching our impressions of PlayStation VR and Res Infinite. We've got more coming. Stay tuned.
Take it back to 82. Way back when computers were the size of you. Movie about hacking. Movie about gaming. Biggest
still
nerd movie
recording?
to
I hope
ever
you
need
are.
explaining.
Brr, 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 brr.
How it should have ended videos. They did
Yeah,
they did a
still
Tron
recording that,
video.
so.
It might still end that way. It's gonna end that way.
The whole thing was caught on there.
And
Okay.
it should probably stay there.